A humble girl helps an elderly woman and ends up living in a millionaire's mansion. Lily had always dreamed of a life beyond the greasy tables and coffee stains of the diner. Every day the bell above the door jingled, and she was greeted with the same familiar faces, regulars whose stories were always the same. In a small town like hers, a girl like Lily felt trapped. Her dreams drifted like the coffee steam rising from the mugs she served. But that all changed one unexpected afternoon. That day, she noticed a new face sitting at the far corner booth. An elderly woman dressed in a tattered purple shawl that seemed to shimmer with past glories. Her fingers fidgeted nervously, wrapped around a porcelain teacup almost too delicate for her weathered hands. There was something beautifully haunting about her. Lily couldn't shake the feeling that this woman's life held secrets, treasures hidden beneath layers of sorrow. "Can I get you anything?" Lily asked, the usual polite smile on her lips. The woman looked up, her blue eyes glistening with stories untold. "Just black tea, dear. It reminds me of, well, memories." Lily felt a shiver run down her spine. Memories? What was this woman hiding? She brought the tea, and they talked like friends who had known each other for ages. The woman introduced herself as Agnes, and with each word, Lily felt drawn into her world, a universe far removed from the diner's greasy linoleum and flickering neon lights. Agnes spoke of a mansion filled with opulent chandeliers and velvet curtains, of grand balls where laughter mingled with the clink of crystal. It felt surreal, as if Agnes's stories spun magic that pulled Lily away from her dreary existence. "I lost it all, child," Agnes murmured, her voice breaking. "But I see something in you, a spark." Every evening turned into a ritual. Lily and Agnes met at the diner, exchanging laughter, stories, and moments that made the mundane seem extraordinary. One day, under the dim light, Agnes's smile faded. "I need to share something important with you," she said, her voice trembling. Lily sensed weight in the air, a storm brewing. Then the shocking truth came crashing like thunder. Agnes had a hidden fortune, an inheritance once radiating warmth that became a chilling void after the loss of her family. "But my daughter, she wants it all. I can't let her find me," she whispered, her hands shaking. Just then, the diner doors swung open with a crash. A woman stormed in, her designer clothes and sharp features slicing through the atmosphere. "Agnes." "There you are," the woman's voice echoed with entitlement and rage. The diner fell into a hush, eyes flickering from Agnes to the newcomer, tension simmering like a pot about to boil over. Lily's heart raced. She was caught in a whirlwind. Should she protect Agnes, this vulnerable soul she had come to adore, or let temptation lead her to the luxuries Agnes described? Questions swirled in her mind, swirling like the steam from Agnes's forgotten tea. As the confrontation unfolded, Lily felt the weight of two worlds colliding, and just like that, the door to a life she had never known swung open, marked by secrets and potential betrayals. What would happen next? Would she dive headfirst into this lavish but dangerous world, or would she stand by the woman who had shown her glimmers of hope? Hey, before we continue with this incredible story, I need to give you an important warning. Many subscribers have reported that YouTube removed their subscriptions without notice. Just take a quick look at the red button below to make sure you're still subscribed to the channel. I don't want you to miss any exclusive content coming up. And since you're here, smash that like button because it really helps me with the algorithm. Oh, and tell me in the comments, which city are you watching from? I love getting to know every amazing person who is part of this community. Your participation makes all the difference. Let's interact. Lily's breath hitched as she faced the newcomer. The tension in the diner was thick, slicing through the banter and clinking dishes. Agnes's eyes widened in fear, and for a moment the swirling chaos around them faded, leaving only the desperation in the old woman's gaze. The sound of the door's jingle faded, but the woman's voice pierced through the silence. "Agnes, you can't hide from me." The words dripped with anger as the stranger marched toward their booth, her heels clicking like a countdown. The regulars watched, some leaning in, curious, while others sipped their coffee, pretending to be engrossed in their own conversations. Who is she? Lily thought, a knot tightening in her stomach. She instinctively reached for Agnes's trembling hand. "Stay away from her!" Lily shouted, surprising herself. The challenge hung in the air, almost daring the woman to retaliate. With a cold smirk, the woman paused, her eyes darting between Lily and Agnes. "Oh, sweet child, you have no idea who you're protecting." A ripple of shock passed through the diner. Whispers erupted, fingers pointed. Agnes's grip tightened around Lily's hand, but the elder woman seemed paralyzed by fear. "What do you mean? Just leave her alone," Lily spat, her voice rising, desperation clawing at her chest. "Because she's not just some broken old woman. She's a fraud," the woman hissed. "You see, Agnes didn't lose everything. She stole it." Agnes gasped, the color draining from her face. "That's not true," she cried, her voice quaking. "I loved her, like my own daughter." "Love, is that what you call it?" The woman laughed, a cold, bitter sound. "You weren't there when she took the inheritance, darling. You have no idea how she tricked our family, tricked me." Lily stared back and forth, her heart hammering in her chest. Behind the anger in Agnes's eyes, there was something else. Fear? Guilt? But surely, this couldn't be true. "What are you talking about?" Lily pressed, voice barely above a whisper. "You can't just come here and say these things." "Oh, but I can." The woman snapped, voice drumming with authority. "Agnes played the victim, hiding behind her tears while taking everything from us. And now she thinks she can flee with her stolen fortune, leaving me in rags." Lily glanced at Agnes, whose face was a mask of sorrow, but a flicker in her eyes spoke volumes. Regret? Shadows twisted on her face like ghosts. Then came a shock beyond anything Lily could have fathomed. "You think your kindness matters? You think she cares for you? You're just a means to an end." The woman pressed on, her voice sharpened like glass. Suddenly, Agnes took a shaky breath, a shift passing through her. "Lily, I have to tell you something," she whispered, voice cracking. "About the truth, about the fortune." The diner buzzed with muted gasps, sudden murmurs coursing through the crowd. Days of laughter and stories now hung in the balance. What truth? "Agnes?" Lily breathed, desperation creeping into her tone. But just then, the lights flickered and went dark. The diner's hum quieted to an eerie silence. In that dark moment, a piercing scream erupted. When the lights flickered back on, Lily's heart dropped. The woman lay sprawled on the floor, eyes wide, breathless. The atmosphere felt heavy, charged with secrets, betrayal, and fear. Lily's world tilted. What had just happened? Did Agnes's past catch up with her, and what was the truth she was about to reveal? The weight of it all crashed over her like a wave, and suddenly, she felt adrift in a sea of uncertainty. As the diner rang with shock, Lily's heart raced. Would she still protect Agnes, or was there a hidden darkness lurking beneath the compassion she'd felt? The answers were slipping away, shadows returning to cloister the truth. Lily's heart pounded in her chest as the diner fell silent around them. The shocking scene laid out like a puzzle missing pieces. The colorful lights flickered back on, revealing the chaos that had just unraveled. People gasped. Whispers crawled through the air, thick with disbelief. Agnes's face turned a ghostly white. She seemed to shrink in on herself, the robust stories she'd shared now a distant echo. "No," she murmured, hands trembling. But instead of feeling concern for Agnes, Lily's stomach knotted with a fear she didn't understand. The tension crackled. The air felt heavy, pressing down like a weight. Then Agnes's eyes widened, staring past Lily, past the crowd, as if she could see something none of them could. "You need to listen to me, Lily," she whispered urgently, her voice barely a breath. You don't understand. Understand what? Lily pressed, feeling dizzy, feeling lost. What's going on? Suddenly, from the back of the diner, the sounds of laughter erupted. It was a group of rowdy patrons, young men and women, spilling in from the bar down the street. They didn't notice the tension, only the thrill of the diner's atmosphere. Then one of them stumbled, tripping over the fallen body of the woman who'd stormed. In chaos reigned. The laughter turned into shouts, the loud clatter of chairs scraping against the floor. Before she could react, Lily reached for Agnes. "We need to go," she shouted over the rising noise. But just as she pulled Agnes up, a deafening crash rang through the diner's ice cream cone-striped walls. The front window shattered. Shards of glass rained down like daggers. People screamed, ducking low. In the mayhem, Lily felt a cold, sharp sense of dread. A figure stood outside, silhouetted against the streetlights, a gun glinting ominously in their hand. Fear gripped her heart. "Keep away from her," the stranger shouted, voice echoing through the diner like thunder. All heads turned, all eyes went wide. Gasps punctuated the air. "Who are you?" Lily cried, fear ripping through her. "Someone who knows the truth," the figure snapped, stepping into the light, revealing a familiar face. It was Agnes's daughter, the woman who had stormed in earlier. "You think she's innocent? She'll put you in harm's way, just to protect her lies." Lily's chest tightened. Everything she thought she knew shattered like the glass. Agnes had spoken of loss, of love, but now it felt tainted. "Do you know what she's capable of? Do you?" The daughter pressed, pointing the gun with a fierce intensity. "She stole from our family and then played the victim to escape. You're just a pawn." Agnes broke down, tears spilling over her cheeks. "No, I did it for love. I never meant to hurt anyone." Lily's mind raced. Was she just a means to an end, caught in a twisted family drama? Her vision blurred. The weight of betrayal hung heavily. "Please don't do this," Lily interjected, desperation clawing at her. "Whatever she did, it's not just black and white. You both deserve to speak, to explain." But chaos consumed the room. Shouting erupted again. Patrons darted for the exit, pushing and pulling, desperate for safety. The tension reached a breaking point. "Stop!" Lily screamed, feeling like she was losing control. "We can figure this out." Suddenly, Agnes gasped, clutching her chest. I have something to show you," she whispered, eyes wild with urgency. "The truth lies in the mansion, my safe." But her words cut off as the daughter's hand shook, the gun wavering between the two women. "What do you know about the mansion?" she shouted, eyes wide. "What lies has she filled your head with?" As Lily stood there, the world spinning around her, the realization hit her like ice water. Agnes held secrets more devastating than imagined. In the frenzy of shouting and scrambling, the sirens wailed in the distance, blending with the chaos. Lily had to choose. Would she dive deeper into Agnes's tangled web, or run away from this nightmare? The question echoed in her mind, drowning. In the storm of shattered glass and raw emotions, Lily's heart raced, a wild drum echoing in her ears as chaos unfolded around her. The figure with the gun stood in the doorway, the tension thick like fog, swallowing everything in its path. Agnes's daughter glared, her finger trembling on the trigger, eyes cold and fierce, a storm brewing in her expression. "Tell her the truth, Mom," she yelled, voice ringing out like gunfire. "Tell her how you ruined us, how you took everything I ever cared about." Agnes's anguish was palpable. Her tears fell like rain, but Lily's mind spun. What truth could possibly justify this madness? She gripped Agnes's hand tighter, feeling the warmth slipping through her fingers. Then, the unexpected happened. The diner door swung open again, but this time, it wasn't just patrons. A group of police officers bustled in, shout commands that cut through the noise. "Everyone, stay calm, get down." Instantly, all eyes shifted from the gun to the officers. Fear hung heavy, pressing down like dark clouds. Agnes's daughter's expression flickered, uncertainty creeping in. But as a shout rang out and chaos whispered through the room, reality shifted. With a quick motion, the daughter lunged toward the side exit, still brandishing the weapon. "Stay away," she screamed. But just then, the lights flickered again, plunging the diner into darkness for a heart-stopping second. In that black void, a sharp crack echoed, followed by unbearable silence. A flash of light illuminated the scene, and everyone gasped. Lily's breath caught in her throat as she saw Agnes on the floor, clutching her chest, gasping for air. "What have you done?" the daughter shrieked, eyes wide with horror as she dropped the gun, which clattered to the floor. It was as if she had just grasped reality, as the weight of her actions crashed down on her. Lily dropped to her knees beside Agnes, shock gripping her. "No, no, Agnes!" Tears threatened to spill as she pressed her hands against the old woman's frail body. "Just breathe, stay with me." But Agnes's eyes were glassy, a flash of recognition flickering before they turned dull. "Lily," she gasped, drawing shaky breaths, "you must know." The sirens wailed closer, and Lily felt the room spin. Everything hinged on this moment. What do I need to know?" she pleaded, panic rising, her heart echoing the urgency of her words. Agnes weakly lifted a hand, the weight of centuries resting in her palm. "The truth is buried deeper." A noise erupted, and the diner's atmosphere fractured. All heads turned as a stranger burst in, drenched in shadows, but the meaningful look on his face hit like a bolt. He was a man in a suit, but something about him felt wrong, out of place. "Where's my mother?" he called out, voice commanding, slicing through the tension like a knife. The daughter whipped around, eyes glinting with disbelief. "You? What are you doing here?" "Enough games," the man bellowed, urgency threading his tone. "The time is now to reveal everything." Lily blinked in confusion, trapped in a whirlwind of identities, accusations, and half-truths. Who was this man? What did he mean by everything? But Agnes's hand slipped from her grasp. A terrible shock consumed the room as understanding dawned, a wave of clarity cutting through the chaos. The truth meant more than betrayal. It meant lives intertwined in ways no one expected. The realization crashed over Lily like a tsunami. The sirens wailed closer, but all she could hear was the thundering in her chest. Who was really the fraud? Who was truly guilty? As Agnes's eyes flickered shut, all the answers blurred into shadows, leaving only a haunting question hanging in the air. Who could she trust now, when everything she thought was real shattered like glass? Lily knelt beside Agnes, panic surging through her as she clutched the frail woman's hand. The diner swirled in chaos. The once familiar sight of coffee cups and tables, now a blur of screams and terror. Agnes was fading. "No, stay with me," Lily begged, shaking her head in disbelief. The daughter's frantic breaths echoed in the space, so raw and desperate. "What have I done?" she muttered, her face contorting with regret, the burden of her actions crashing upon her like a deluge. Amid the cacophony, the police officers rushed in, their voices commanding. But they felt like mere shadows against the real storm unraveling right before them. Lily turned her gaze back to Agnes, whose eyes fluttered. "The truth," she whispered, voice barely there, trembling like autumn leaves in a chill. With every passing second, the gravity of the moment pressed down harder. "Tell me, what do I need to know?" Lily cried, feeling tears stream down her cheeks as she looked into those fragile eyes, trembling like a flickering candle. But before Agnes could speak again, the man in the suit lunged forward, urgency etched in his features. "There isn't time. The truth about the manor isn't just about the money. It's about everything you think you know." His voice pierced through the crowd, every syllable crackling with intensity. Suddenly the lights in the diner flickered, stubborn against the chaos. In that electric moment, Agnes's hand slipped from Lily's grasp. "Agnes!" Lily screamed, panic flooding her veins. Agnes's daughter surged forward, horror etched across her face. "Mom!" she cried out, feeling the world collapse around her. But the shout was drowned out by the piercing sirens outside, a dreadful symphony blending into the madness. And then, as if time froze, a figure burst through the back door. A woman with fierce determination radiating from her, eyes ablaze with fury. "Stop this," she shouted, drawing everyone's attention. Gasps echoed in the room. "Mom?" Agnes's daughter staggered back, eyes wide as recognition carved shock into her features. It was an unexpected twist, a blow without warning. "You?" The daughter stumbled over her words, bewildered. "You left. You chose your life over us. I had to. I always knew," the woman responded, voice quivering. "It was the only way to protect you from the family's darkness. It's not about Agnes. It's about our blood." Lily's heart sank as confusion washed over her. All those stories Agnes had shared, the love, the pain, it felt like a fractured mirror now, reflecting an image she couldn't piece together. "What do you mean? What blood?" The woman moved closer, and the tension snapped. Agnes didn't just lose people, she ruined families. But she's not the monster you believe. Tension wrapped around them like a tight noose. "No, you don't get to decide." Lily gasped, but the truth danced in front of her, nearly within grasp. Agnes stirred on the floor, eyes flickering as if caught between two worlds. "It's not what you think, Lily," she rasped, her voice trembling with urgency. "I never meant to hurt." And then it happened. The very ground beneath their feet cracked open. A blinding flash swept through the diner as the wall exploded, crumbling. Plaster and debris filled the air, clouds of dust blinding everyone. Amid the shock, Lily felt herself jerk forward, instinctively reaching for Agnes, desperate to pull her to safety. As the chaos erupted, she heard gut-wrenching screams and frenzied shouts. When the dust settled, silence blanketed the diner. Lily blinked, heart pounding, scanning for Agnes in the aftermath, but the room twisted in disarray. The daughter, the man in the suit, they were gone, swallowed by the echoes of the explosion. But right where Agnes had lain, a smooth box lay half buried in debris, glinting oddly like treasure under the flickering lights. "What is this?" Lily asked, her heart racing as she approached, the weight of the moment crashing upon her, shrouded in mystery and chaos. She reached out, trembling, fingers brushing the cool surface. "Is it the truth?" she whispered under her breath, feeling the weight of 1,000 secrets tantalizingly close, ready to reveal everything. But just as she grasped the box, the sirens returned, louder than ever. They weren't just coming for the chaos outside, they were coming for them too. The question clawed inside her. Was this a path to salvation, or the start of something more dangerous? Whatever lay ahead shattered the promises and illusions she'd held on to. The choice was terrifying. What lay inside could change it all. Lily's heart raced as she stared at the box, nestled among the debris. It gleamed with an otherworldly allure, pulling her in like a beacon. Around her, the once bustling diner lay in chaos. People were scrambling for the exits, shouting echoed off the walls, and sirens blared in the distance, closing in fast. Every emotion swirled inside her. Fear, confusion, hope, but above all, urgency, the kind that gnawed at her insides. She reached down, trembling fingers brushing against the cool surface of the box. Was this the key? The truth? Before she could open it, a sharp cry pierced the air. "Lily, get back!" It was a police officer, rushing forward, urgency mixed with panic. He moved to shield her, aiming his flashlight into the darkened corners of the wrecked diner. "What?" "About Agnes," Lily cried, glancing at the old woman who lay there, barely breathing. "She needs help." "Just a moment," the officer shouted back, pushing through the crowd. The chaos became a blur, distant voices fading into a muffled crescendo. But Lily's focus was on Agnes, the truth still tantalizingly out of reach. Just then, the lights flickered again, casting strange shadows against the walls. In that brief flicker, Lily caught sight of the man in the suit from before, now standing motionless, watching her. "Don't," he called out, voice low and urgent. But something about him felt off. "You don't know what that box really is." "What do you mean?" Fear laced her words. A knot, tightening in her stomach. "Do you know what happened to Agnes?" He took a hesitant step forward, shadows swirling around him. That box. It holds a dark history, connected to her and to me. The tension in the room hung thick like smoke. Lily felt a chill run down her spine. What are you talking about? Before he could reply, a deafening explosion shattered the silence, sending shards of glass and wood flying everywhere. People screamed, diving for cover as the diner rumbled and shook. Lily ducked instinctively, covering her head, heart hammering. When she looked up again, the scene had transformed. The man in the suit collapsed to the floor, clutching his chest, gasping for breath. Shock coursed through the diner. A sudden stillness fell over the chaos, a sharp contrast to the panic moments before. "Who did this?" someone screamed. But the answer hung thick in the air, unspoken. "There's something you all need to know," he rasped, eyes wide with fear. "Everything you think you know is wrong." "Everything is wrong?" Agnes's daughter shrieked, her hands shaking. "What do you mean?" The man's face twisted with anguish. "I'm her son. You're my sister." The room went silent, disbelief punctuating the air. Lily felt the ground beneath her shake, as if her reality was shattering around her. "What? That's impossible." "Yes, it is. Our mother." He struggled to find his breath, voice cracking. "She didn't steal anything. She was trying to protect us from the truth. Our family's fortune is built on lies, on blood. That's why Agnes, she became a ghost." Lily's mind raced, trying to wrap around the sudden twist. No, that can't be right. You're saying she's your mother? You're just like them." "No, I'm here to expose it, to end this cycle of suffering." His voice was raw as he gasped for air. "You need to open that box." But before she could reach for it, sirens shrieked louder, a rush of red and blue lights flooding the diner. "Everyone get out," the officer shouted, urgency now spilling over into chaos once more. But Lily hesitated, caught between worlds. The man drew in a shaky breath, pain etched in his features. Trying to reach out, he gasped, "Lily, please, you have to hear me out before it's—" And then, darkness swallowed his words. The lights flickered out completely, plunging them back into chaos, fear swirling like a whirlpool. She couldn't let all this unravel without knowing the truth. But did she dare open Pandora's box? Holding it close, cold surface pressed against her palm, staring into the infinitesimal void left behind by Agnes, her heart pounded. What lay in the depths could change everything, but at what cost? As chaos erupted around her, she made her choice, the weight of history resting squarely on her shoulders. "Open it, Lily," a voice urged. But she didn't know if it was her own or the lingering specter of ancient burdens. She squeezed her eyes shut, preparing for whatever was to come. And then the box sprang open. The box sprang open, and as it did, a blinding light flooded the room, washing over Lily in a cascade of shimmering particles. She squinted, heart racing, feeling the weight of anticipation pressing down on her. Would it be answers, clarity, or something darker? But then the light morphed into a swirling storm of faded memories. Images flooded her mind, snapshots of faces she didn't recognize. Voices echoed, whispering secrets long buried. In her heart, dread twisted like a knife. "What is happening?" she gasped. But around her, the chaos in the diner faded. It was just her and the visions now, overwhelming and consuming. Suddenly, one memory surged to the forefront. A younger Agnes, vibrant and full of life. She stood in a lavish ballroom, laughter spilling from her lips, surrounded by people, family, friends, but shadows loomed, dark figures lurking on the edge. Lily strained to hear the words, but they slipped away like sand through her fingers. No, this can't be real. A chill crept up her spine. This couldn't be Agnes's truth, could it? The woman who had become like a grandmother to her. Was there another side? Then the vision shattered, and the box fell from her hands, landing with a soft thud. The blinding light dimmed to a flicker, and there stood Agnes, but not the frail woman Lily knew. This Agnes was young, vibrant, her purple shawl draped elegantly, brilliance radiating from her eyes. "I've been waiting, Lily," she said, her voice confident and clear, a stark contrast to the quavering tones from moments before. "It's time you knew the truth." Lily blinked, disoriented. "What? What is this?" "This is my past." Agnes smiled, but there was something eerie lurking behind it. "And yours too." Lily's knees buckled as the reality clawed at her. She could barely breathe. "What do you mean?" Before she could form the words, the woman from before, Agnes's daughter, burst through the remains of the diner door, eyes wide with confusion. "Mom, what's going on?" Her gaze flickered between the young Agnes and Lily. "What is this?" Everything shifted again, like a camera lens focusing, and suddenly the air crackled with tension. The young Agnes stepped toward her daughter, something unspoken, heavy in the air. "I did what I had to do to protect our family." "Protect? Or deceive?" The daughter's voice trembled, rage and sorrow dancing together in her expression. "You left me in the dark, while you pretended everything was fine." The young Agnes's face softened. "I wanted to shield you from all of it. You wouldn't understand the burdens we carry, the true roots of our fortune." Lily felt a sinking sensation in her stomach. "Your fortune? What does that mean?" The daughter stepped closer, hesitation in her eyes. "Our family isn't what you think. We aren't just wealthy. We're entwined in a legacy of betrayal and deceit. Everything comes at a cost." The weight of her words hung like a leaden curtain. Lily's heart raced, thoughts tumbling over each other. "So, everything you said, it was all a lie?" A pained expression slipped over Agnes's face. "Not a lie, Lily. A choice. We made decisions to protect each other, to survive. But at what cost?" Just then, another cop rushed in, eyes frantic. "Everyone out now. We need to clear this area." The urgency cranked up and chaos reigned once more. People scrambled for the exits, but Lily stood frozen, caught in the web of tangled family secrets. But then came a stunner. Agnes's daughter turned, grabbing Lily's arm with an intensity that shocked her. "You need to come with me, now. You don't understand. You're more involved in this than you realize." Lily felt her blood run cold. "What do you mean?" Before she could get an answer, the lights flickered and dimmed again, plunging everything into obscurity. A loud crash echoed, and when the lights flickered back on, it was chaos again. The visions, the truth, the past, it all lurked like darkness just beneath the surface, waiting to reveal something that could shatter everything. But then, at that moment, the real surprise hit. A voice, familiar, cold, commanding. "You didn't think I'd let you go that easily, did you?" Lily's head whipped around, and her heart sank as she realized who stood in the doorway, smiling sinisterly. It was the man in the suit, the one who had collapsed, the one who had watched everything unfold. "Welcome to the family reunion, Lily." Her world tilted, mind racing as the truth hung in the air, heavier and more dangerous than ever. What had she really stumbled into? And more importantly, what would this revelation mean for the future? Lily's heart raced as she absorbed the chilling reality standing before her. The man in the suit, the one she thought had crumbled, now loomed like a specter. "Welcome to the family reunion, Lily," he said, voice dripping with an unsettling mixture of triumph and malice. Her stomach flipped. "What do you mean? Who are you?" Panic clawed at her throat. Every instinct screamed to run, but she stood frozen, the air thick with disbelief. "You're not just an innocent bystander," he said, stepping closer. "You're part of this twisted legacy. You were born into it. Don't you see? This whole time—" "Stop!" Agnes's daughter yelled, urgency flooding her words. "Don't listen to him. He's manipulating you." But it was too late. The man just smiled, the kind that sends chills skittering down the spine. "Oh, Liz, you've always been so naive." Lily's head spun. "What are you talking about?" "Liz is your sister," he said, his eyes glinting with something darkly pleased. "Born from the same mother, just as I was. And so were you, Lily." Lily felt the ground shift beneath her, reality spiraling. "No, that's not possible." "Yes, it is," he sneered. "Agnes's blood flows through your veins. You inherited her secrets, her fortune. And now you're the key to continuing our family's reign. We've waited for this moment. Agnes, on the floor, gasped. No, this can't be true. But the man brushed her off. Your lies are unraveling, Agnes. Your past isn't safe anymore. He turned back to Lily with a feverish intensity. You're one of us, whether you deny it or not. The diner felt like it was closing in, the walls whispering secrets that suffocated her. You're saying I'm related to you? To her? She gestured to Agnes, who looked pale, eyes wide. Yes, and the fortune you thought Agnes lost, he gestured wildly. It belongs to you now. The mansion, the legacy. It's all yours. You're lying. Lily's voice trembled, but doubt crept in. Could there be truth mingled with his madness? It was too twisted, too horrifying to comprehend. Suddenly, from the back, the sound of shattering glass cut through the intensity. A figure burst through the window, tumbling into the diner. A hooded woman, dust swirling around her, eyes alight with fire. I'm not done, she shouted, her voice fierce, cutting through the chaos. Everyone turned, bewildered. Not done with what? Agnes's daughter demanded, eyes narrowing. Not done exposing the truth. The woman pulled down her hood, revealing familiar features. I'm Olivia, your sister too, Lily. Gasps echoed. Shock rippled through the crowd. What? Lily could barely breathe. Another sister? Don't you see? Olivia stepped closer. This family is a web of lies, twisted bloodlines, and betrayal. They've used us. Us? Lily's world was shattering, splintering into pieces, each one more painful than the last. What do you mean? They took everything from us, Olivia said, voice firm. But we can take it back. She took a step closer to Agnes's daughter. We can bring it all crashing down. Lily felt like she was drowning, waves of confusion crashing over her. What had she stumbled into? How many others were part of this nightmare? But before she could process, the sirens blared outside, loud and demanding, cutting through the tension. Within that moment of distraction, the reality hit her like a punch. Who could she trust? Was anyone safe? Or were they all puppets in a cursed play? As the officers rushed in, panic igniting, she clutched the box tighter. The truth within felt like a ticking bomb, ready to reshape everything. What do we do? She whispered, fear gnawing at her insides. But Olivia shrugged, eyes glaring at the chaos enveloping them. We'll do whatever it takes. Nothing will stop us now. In that instant, Lily realized this was just the beginning. A storm of secrets was poised to erupt, and someone, somehow, would be getting swept up in the turmoil. But who would make it out alive? And could she even trust her own blood? Lily stood frozen, her heart pounding in her chest. The man in the suit had just dropped a bombshell that left the entire diner gasping. Welcome to the family reunion, Lily. The words echoed like thunder, throwing her world upside down. Her mind raced. A sister? More than one? How could that even be possible? Everything she thought she knew was crumbling. Agnes's daughter Liz shook her head, fury curling her lip. No, this can't be happening. She stepped forward, eyes blazing. You're lying. You must be lying. But Olivia, the hooded woman, stood her ground, fists clenched. No, it's true. We're all linked by this dark bloodline. A cold sweat slicked Lily's palms. The weight of their words pressed in on her. But why? Why would you all keep this from me? As panic swirled around them, throbbing uncertainty filling the air, the sirens outside wailed louder. The flashing lights spilled through the shattered windows, throwing wild shadows against the walls. But then came a sound that silenced everything. A loud crash, followed by the deafening roar of voices from outside. What's happening? Someone shrieked, pushing their way through the crowd. In a whirlwind of motion, the front doors burst open, and a tall figure stormed in. It was a man in a uniform, but not just any officer. He was someone Lily recognized, someone from her past. Lily! The man's deep voice cut through the chaos, heavy with urgency. You need to get out, now! But before Lily could process his presence, the floor beneath them shuddered, and a deafening explosion shattered the air. Everyone screamed, ducking for cover. The lights flickered wildly, plunging the diner into a disorienting darkness. When the lights flickered back on, the atmosphere had shifted completely. The man in uniform lay sprawled on the floor, a pool of crimson spreading beneath him. Lily's blood ran cold. "No!" she screamed, rushing to his side. "What happened?" He looked up at her, his face pale and sweaty, pain etched deeply in his features. "Lily, listen to me. They're after you, your family," he coughed, fresh blood staining his lips. "They're not safe." Suddenly, the world twisted again. The man in the suit laughed, a low, menacing sound. "You see? This is how it always ends. Lies, blood, and betrayal. None can escape it." But Lily couldn't focus on him. All she could see was the officer, the familiar face that looked more like a stranger now. "How do you know my family?" she asked, voice shaking. "What's happening?" "Your mother," he gasped, struggling to form the words. "She's not who you think. She's not your mother. She—" A monstrous wave of realization crashed over her, and before he could finish, the walls trembled, and dust began to fall from the ceiling. The sirens outside reached a fever pitch. Flashing lights turned the interior into a carnival of chaos. The man's eyes widened. "Get out, Lily. You must run." But just then, the diner door swung open again, and an unthinkable sight appeared. Another officer, different, yet somehow familiar, followed closely by a group of figures that could only be described as shadows of her past. "Did you really think we wouldn't find you?" This voice rolled over her, thick and intoxicating. It was her mother, or at least what she thought was her mother, and there was something horrifyingly regal about her presence. "What?" Lily whispered, heart gripping her. "No, it can't be." The man in the suit boomed. "Your true family has come to reclaim what is theirs." The energy in the room shifted, dramatic and consuming. Everything Lily thought she knew suddenly hung on a fragile thread, ready to snap. Trust, loyalty, they felt like illusions. "Are you ready to accept your destiny, Lily?" her mother said, a wicked smile creeping across her face. Each heartbeat echoed like a countdown. As silence descended and every eye turned toward her, Lily felt the deep cavern of doubt inside her. Who was she? What was her true legacy? And as the walls closed in, suffocating with every question unanswered, she thought, what now? Everything shifted as darkness loomed just beyond her reach, drowning her in a whirlpool of fate and uncertainty. Lily stood amidst the chaos, her heart racing, drowning in confusion. The air was thick with tension, every breath a reminder of how fragile her reality had become. "You have to choose, Lily," the man in the suit sneered, his eyes dancing with dark satisfaction. "Join us, accept your legacy, or be crushed under its weight." Nearby, Agnes's daughter, Liz, clenched her fists, her face contorted in disbelief. "You can't let them manipulate you," she shouted, edging closer to Lily, urgency dripping from her words. "We have the power to break free from this cycle. Together, we can expose the truth." But as Lily turned to look at the officer, their features were painted in panic, a horrific scene evolving under the siren's wail and the flickering lights. "Please, Lily," he gasped, blood still seeping from the wound. "You have to listen." Before he could finish, the diner trembled as another explosion rocked the building, bursts of shattered glass showering everyone. Screams echoed, voices screeched in terror. Darkness flickered, drowning the world in confusion. Panic erupted, limbs thrashing as people pushed toward the exits in a desperate rush. Lily's breath caught as she saw the man in the suit tumble backward, pulling others into the chaos with him. The sight snapped her into action. "Liz, Olivia," she yelled over the chaos. "We have to move." Agnes's form flickered, half in and out of the scene as if she belonged to another reality. "You have to find the box," she cried, desperation breaking through the tremor in her voice. "It holds the truth." "To your fate." Gripping her arm and summoning fierce resolve, Lily pulled Liz and Olivia toward the back door, dodging debris as more sirens swelled outside. The world felt like it was crumbling, everything she thought she knew swirling around her in a vortex of chaos. "Go!" Lily shouted, the three of them darting through the kitchen. The smell of grease and burnt coffee wafted through the air, familiar yet foreign in this moment of madness. With one decisive shove, they burst into the alley behind the diner, gasping for air. The sirens echoed like a ghostly choir behind them. "What now?" Olivia breathed, wide-eyed, hands trembling. "I don't know," Lily admitted, the weight of the moment crashing down on her, but deep within, a flicker of resolve ignited. She would not let the legacy they'd all been shackled to define her future. "We have to destroy the box. It's sacred, and it carries their sins." Liz's gaze sharpened. "Then we do it. We bring this truth to light." Just then, a shot rang out, piercing the night air, ricocheting off the brick walls. They gasped, eyes wide, looking back toward the diner. "We have to go," Lily urged, adrenaline surging. They ran, shoving through the exit and emerging into the chaotic street, blue and red lights painting everything in a frantic hue. Voices clamored, and desperation filled the atmosphere, thick and suffocating. "Stay together," Olivia shouted, eyes scanning for danger. But in this tumult, they had something architected from within, an alliance forged in fear and a fierce desire for freedom. As they sprinted through the chaos, overcoming grasping hands and familiar faces turned sinister, Lily felt a buoyancy swell within her chest. "We'll reclaim what's ours," she whispered, with a determination igniting her soul. The three women glanced at one another, their fortitude unifying. "To the mansion," Liz declared, breathing deeply, voice steady. "We'll uncover everything, lay their sins bare." The mansion rose on the horizon, an ominous silhouette against the sky, a reminder of chains yet broken. They would unveil the truth or die trying as they reached the looming structure. The door creaked open, revealing a darkness stirred with shadows of their past. Together, hand in hand, they stepped through into the unknown, ready to confront their fate. Subscribe immediately to the channel so you don't miss any of the next exclusive stories. Smash the like button right now to feed the algorithm. Flood the comments section with your thoughts and theories about the ending. Instantly share this video with at least 5 friends who need to see how this ends. You have to subscribe right now. This is the moment to show your support. Don't wait even one more second to share this. Real fans understand the importance of supporting the channel through these actions.